Andrew, thanks so much for taking time out to do the Art of Fearlessly Doing Business interview. Tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about your business.
Great, thanks Michelle very much. Andrew Bloom, and I'm a residential real estate agent. I've been in practice now just over 20 years, and I'm located in a RE/MAX office in the DC Ranch area, and I love it. It's fabulous. It's just a great place to be.
So tell me, why did you start your business?
Well, it goes back to my childhood. I grew up really without a lot of structure and discipline, and in a very chaotic home. And I have a bachelor's degree in social work from ASU, and I was doing social work for the city of Phoenix as a Head Start caseworker, as a housing advocate. And I was working in conditions that were very similar to how I was raised. They were very poor, chaotic, messy, very dysfunctional homes that really just needed some intervention, and they needed somebody to come in and assist the family to make things better. And through that work, I found that a lot of the clients that I was working with were really at a disadvantage living in low-income housing, and the landlords were taking advantage of the tenants and not keeping the standards up in these properties that legally they were really required to do. So I approached my supervisor and told my supervisor I felt it would be an advantage for me to have my real estate license so I could be a better housing advocate for my clients. And the city of Phoenix agreed with my idea and agreed to pay to have me go get my real estate license. And so simultaneously to that, my wife and I were starting our own family, and we became pregnant with our oldest now, who's almost 22, Austin. And I'm doing this housing advocacy work and felt very empowered because I had my real estate license, and thought, you know, if I could just supplement my social work income working part-time in real estate, I could give up my jobs waiting tables at night. And so that's what I did. I took that first step of going into real estate as a real estate practitioner while simultaneously still working my full-time job with the city of Phoenix. There we go, look at that.
So tell me, what was the biggest fear you had to overcome to get started once you decided that you were going to start moving in a different direction?
You know, it was really scary for me to give up my job with the city of Phoenix as a Head Start caseworker and go right into owning my own business and into real estate full-time with no guarantee that I'd be able to put food on the table every day. You know, it was a really scary thing. And so I spent my first year working for the city of Phoenix full-time and selling real estate part-time. Although what I realized was I was putting a lot more hours into real estate part-time than anybody in my office working full-time selling real estate. And as a result, I sold 40 houses my first year. And it still wasn't enough to convince me that I could go into real estate full-time and put food on the table and support my family. So I decided to give myself another 6 months, and I just felt like if, you know, the next 6 months were as phenomenal as the first 12 months, then I would go ahead and give up my city job and go into real estate permanently full-time. And the next 6 months were outstanding. I was Rookie of the Year at Coldwell Banker. I had just a phenomenal business connection with the real estate industry. I just loved doing what I was doing and helping people every day getting into housing, and I loved it. It was just so phenomenal. So after 18 months working in the business as a side job, although my numbers were enormous, I took that leap of faith to go in full-time and give up the other job. So, you know, we had at the time, Babs and I were, we were pregnant with our second child, and, you know, it was really scary to give up the benefits and comfort of working for a municipality that, you know, I thought I'd be at for 30 years and collect pension from. But I'm glad I did it.
So once you got started and things are rolling along, what's the first big bump you hit and how'd you get through it?
You know, it's really interesting. I mean, I've been now selling real estate for almost 21 years, and I've never had a week where I haven't sold a house or a month where I haven't had a closing. You know, I average about 100 transactions a year. So, you know, I average about 2 sales a week, and it's been like that since day one. My first year, I sold 40 houses, which is almost 1 a week. And so, you know, I think you know, I've never really had to deal with the inability to go out and make it happen. And I think it stems from, you know, having really strong, positive daily habits and behaviors and discipline and integrity. And people know that, you know, I put them way ahead of myself and my needs, and it becomes, you know, it's humbling. I mean, it's really exciting to know that I make a big difference in people's lives every day, and they recognize that, and they see that, and they know that they can count on me day in and day out to help them with their real estate needs. And so I've never really had any adversity with my practice. I've had a lot of bumps in the road and a lot of things that have, you know, tried to come in the way of my daily habits and behaviors, but you know, a lot of those are self-serving, you know, destructive behaviors, or, you know, certain investment decisions that I've made in real estate. But my practice, which is really, you know, what I do every single day, I've never encountered a situation that was, you know, created any difficulty. From the beginning, I knew that real estate was a major life stressor for people, that buying or selling a house had a major impact on their behavior. And it was really important to me to be able to, you know, embrace that from day one, because people make certain decisions, buying or selling decisions, that, you know, aren't personal. And so you know, over the years, I've had a lot of friends that, you know, have chosen to buy or sell real estate without me. And, you know, I understand that people aren't necessarily, you know, making certain decisions based on professional and personal experiences, and they're operating from a place of, you know, a real deep personal level. I mean, and so to have the courtesy and respect for everybody around me, that, you know, people are going to make their own decisions, and that's okay. You know, I've never really sold a house. I mean, you know, it's kind of funny. People buy and sell real estate because they need to, you know, and it's you're not going to ever force anybody to buy something they wouldn't want to buy or sell something they don't want to sell. You know, it's a really emotional and personal decision, and, you know, just having, I think, a respect for the thought process that goes into that for people has gone a long way in allowing me to maintain the success that I have every day.
So you've been able to make it through the recession and all those kind of like little personal bumps that every human being has to deal with in life, the births of babies and babies going off to college and all of that stuff. So now that you're kind of senior in your practice, what's the biggest thing that scares you now, and how are you plowing through it?
You know, I've grown my business tremendously, and I grow my team, and I think surrounding myself with a really talented, deep bench is important, and I'm learning how to be a better leader. I'm learning how to coach and motivate and manage people, and I've never really been a very good manager of people. I think that I just kind of get things done and, you know, show up every day and do what I need to do, and I know that the outcome is going to be there no matter what. As long as my habits and my behavior and my integrity comes first, then I know that the outcome's going to follow. And as a leader, it's really different, you know, and I'm enjoying the things that I'm learning on a daily basis on how to be a better leader and build a team around me. And, you know, I think the real estate business in general has gotten more complicated, and buyers and sellers need a team around them to support them through the process, and you can't do this by yourself. There's no way to be able to deliver the kind of client-centric experience and service that people are entitled to have and need to have during a time of very stressful time in people's lives, whether it's positive or negative. I think, I find when, a lot of people are buying homes because they're getting married, but the getting married part is a major life stressor. And now you add buying a home and moving and combining households, you're adding one major life stressor on top of another. And, the importance for me to have a strong team around me that supports me every day in what I do and the service delivery that we want to have to clients is important. And so culture, I really understand how important culture is to my team, and I would say that my biggest fear is not knowing how to be a tremendous leader, and I'm learning every day how to do that, and so I think that takes time, and I think I don't have any fear. I run my business knowing that if we show up every day and we do the right things, then the results are going to show up, period. And they may not show up exactly when we need them, or exactly how we anticipated they were going to show up, but they just have a way of showing up when we do the right things. And I really preach that to my team. We start off every single day at 9 a.m. with a team huddle. So we're very busy from the moment we get up. I get up at 4:30 in the morning and meditate for an hour, and then Babs and I go to the gym and work out. And my day starts at 4:30 in the morning, and it doesn't end until very late at night. And so just knowing that I'm disciplined and I'm creating that accountability and leading by example for my team, and watching them grow is really exciting to me. So, I don't know what the next chapter is for me and the team and what we're doing, but we're growing. I started the year in January with 5 people, and we were really doing a lot of business. And today we have 13 people. And we're really doing the same amount of business, but I'm really setting the culture in the team, and I think that is, for me, probably the biggest fear, because I've got a lot of people that depend on me every day to bring, to be the cheerleader and the lead generator and the rainmaker, and the one that's always positive and setting goals and helping people achieve their goals. So it's a lot of responsibility, and I don't think having fear is is something that I can allow to really penetrate my soul and what I put into this every day. There's a really great Israeli Hebrew song that talks about how the whole world is a narrow bridge and you cannot have any fear. And it's one of my favorites. I'll have to sing it for you. But it's really beautiful. And I spent a year as a volunteer in the Israeli army. And this became one of my greatest, purposes, something that kind of a mantra that I've, sung for, the last 25 years, and I just think it's really true that if you live your life without fear, knowing that you're doing the right thing every day, then you're going to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish. So it's kind of what I do.
So what can you tell the folks that are listening to this video about what you've learned personally about being fearless? You told us a little bit about that.
Well, it started, I lived in a very chaotic home, as I mentioned earlier. And when you grow up in an environment that requires you to survive, that it requires you to fight every day emotionally to achieve the things that you want to achieve, you grow up fast, and you grow up knowing that the only way that you're going to succeed is if every single day you have a positive attitude and you're focused on, having structure in your life. I was removed from my house when I was 11 years old and lived in a Jewish orphanage for 3 years. and then I've been on my own since I'm 14 years old. I dropped out of high school and got my GED and put myself through college to get my degree in social work. And it's a really interesting life that I've had, and learning how to just every day you got to make a difference in your own life by having good, strong, solid behavior and habits. I mentioned it so many times, but it's just so true. I was very fortunate when I was 11 years old to go and live in Vista Del Mar, which is a 120-bed Jewish orphanage in Los Angeles, and it was there where it was like, oh my God, there's structure. We know when we're going to eat. We don't have outside influences that are affecting our ability to survive and thrive. That it was really our own actions and behavior every day that was going to lead to having a positive, hitting our goals that we had. And I was very fortunate to have that at an early age, be able to go, wow, it's amazing that if I do the right things every day and I put structure in my life, then I'm going to achieve all the goals that I have. And I think that's why I got married at 21, and Babs and I have been married almost 25 years. It's just that, I think most people will agree that if their life is structured and disciplined, and they have integrity and good values and treat people with compassion, you can really overcome anything, And so by doing that and knowing that you're putting that out there every day, it's really hard to live in, to have fear, because, you're just so confident that every day you're doing the right things, and that, God's going to work the way that God's going to work. If you put it out there every day, then, good things are going to happen at some point, no matter what. And then it's a matter of just trying to string together enough good things every day that, allow you to achieve your goals. So, I'm very fortunate. I'm really blessed. I have a tremendous family and a great practice, and I think I really enjoy leading without fear and being vulnerable. I'm really vulnerable. I'm very honest with my team about what I can and can't do, or what I understand or don't understand, and I ask for a lot of help and a lot of forgiveness. I think I make mistakes along the way, of course, and I think being vulnerable is not having it. That's not a lack of fear, or I think being vulnerable is recognizing that you're going to do the right things every day, and you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. So it seems to work out really well. So I'm pretty pleased with the outcome so far.
Well, Andrew, I really appreciate your time today, and I look forward to seeing you at the Art of Fearlessly Doing Business show at the 9 Gallery on December 18th.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Michelle.